Hey friends, Slater here. We've noticed a recent drop in views, and after speaking to many of our loyal subscribers, we got some honest feedback. Some of you said our videos were going up too late, while others talked about the length of 20 minutes being an issue. A good number of you suggested bringing back 2 uploads a day, with each video averaging around 10 to 11 minutes, scheduled at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 5:30 or 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, we want to know your opinion on AEW Dynamite. Should we continue doing full match-by-match reviews, or just cover the biggest news and talking points from the show? We've created a poll that will be live for the next 10 days. Please use the link in the description below to cast your vote. Now, I'd like to open up personally. I've been uploading wrestling news every single day since 2015. Only until recently did I stop posting on Sundays, because of health reasons. My commitment was such that I even uploaded during my worst possible situations, including hospital emergencies for myself and my family. As many of you know, I recently underwent surgery to remove a mass from my intestines. It was scary and painful, and what made things worse was that my insurance didn't cover some of the expenses. I had to bear the financial burden on my own. The entire situation has already taken a major dent in my finances. And now the decline in viewership has made things even more difficult. All I ask is for your support. Watch the videos, like them, share them, and subscribe if you haven't already. Every view counts. Every click matters. And your voice in the poll will help shape the future of this channel. Thank you so much for being here.
Andrade is officially no longer with WWE, and the wrestling world has been buzzing with speculation about where he might land next. That speculation only grew louder when MJF decided to stir the pot, openly inviting Andrade to meet up with him in Mexico. MJF used Twitter to react to Andrade's release in trademark fashion, saying he'll soon be in Mexico to beat the ever-loving out of Místico at CMLL. Taking a jab at Andrade's broke fellow countryman, MJF then added that Andrade could join him for a margarita before he heads to Toronto to face Mark Briscoe. Andrade, however, didn't take too kindly to the invitation. He fired back with a middle finger emoji, which led MJF to respond again, writing, "Oh, it's like that? Okay, Pedro." Andrade escalated things further by calling out the former AEW World Champion directly. He made it clear that in Mexico, the standard is mask versus hair matches, and he accused MJF of dodging that tradition by putting only his CMLL World title on the line against Místico's mask. Andrade even went as far as to calling him a Whether this remains a social media war or turns into an actual match, Andrade has already managed to get fans talking. And with MJF preparing to defend his CMLL World title soon, many believe it's only a matter of time before Andrade shows up in Mexico to make his presence felt. While Andrade's future is up in the air, his WWE departure has already had ripple effects. His exit has left Rey Fénix without a partner, since the two had recently been paired together on television. According to Bodyslam.net, creative plans are now being adjusted, and one of the ideas gaining traction is to reunite Rey Fénix with his brother Penta, bringing back the iconic Lucha Brothers team. At this point, nothing has been finalized, but the possibility of a full reunion has WWE fans buzzing. The sudden split of Andrade and Fénix is certainly a setback, but a Lucha Brothers return could be a major opportunity for Fénix and a huge moment for WWE. With Andrade possibly heading toward a showdown with MJF and CMLL, WWE may look to capitalize by reigniting one of the most popular Lucha tag teams in recent memory. Would you like to see Andrade step into a CMLL ring against MJF? And if WWE does reunite the Lucha Brothers, which dream matches would you want to see first? Share your predictions and fantasy booking ideas in the comments below. Ludwig Kaiser stepping into the El Grande Americano persona has turned out to be a smart move, and it's already paying dividends. With his consistent appearances in AAA, the groundwork seems set for a major feud under his new identity. According to Bodyslam.net, sources confirm that El Hijo del Vikingo and El Grande Americano are expected to clash in the near future. The rivalry stems from Americano's recent involvement with the Judgment Day, which has stirred up tensions between the two sides and laid the foundation for a high-profile matchup. One source specifically noted, "Sources indicate that El Hijo del Vikingo and El Grande Americano are expected to have a match against each other in due time. This is due to Americano's involvement with the Judgment Day over recent weeks." This aligns with earlier reports that WWE plans to give Kaiser a major push in AAA under the El Grande Americano character. He's been closely tied to the Judgment Day in recent weeks, even playing a pivotal role in helping Dominic Mysterio retain the Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles. Given what unfolded at the WWE x AAA Worlds Collide event earlier this month, it's becoming more and more likely that Americano and Vikingo will go head-to-head soon. With AAA scheduled to hold another show later this month, fans are already buzzing that it could be the perfect stage for this showdown. Would you like to see El Grande Americano square off against El Hijo del Vikingo at AAA's next big event? And if it does happen, who should come out on top? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. AEW news now is on Dynamite. Dax Harwood has made it clear that nothing matters more to him right now than destroying Adam Copeland and Christian Cage at AEW All Out. But in a shocking twist, Harwood has now raised the stakes even higher, declaring that he would retire from in-ring competition if he and Cash Wheeler fail to win this week. The bold claim came after a fan on Twitter asked him directly what his plan would be if he lost to Copeland and Cage at All Out. The fan wrote, "Dax, what's the plan if you lose against CNC?" Harwood didn't hesitate to fire back, responding, "I'll retire from being an in-ring competitor." The rivalry between FTR and the team of Copeland and Cage has already been intense, but Harwood's vow has turned the match into a career-defining moment. The stakes couldn't be higher heading into All Out. Do you believe FTR will overcome Copeland and Cage, or are we about to see Dax Harwood hang up his boots for good? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Now, Paul Heyman has been absent from WWE television ever since Roman Reigns choked him out at WWE Clash in Paris. With WrestlePalooza now just days away, Heyman has finally addressed the speculation about whether he'll return at the event. Appearing on ESPN's First Take, Heyman spoke candidly about the aftermath of that brutal angle in Paris. He revealed that the choke from Roman Reigns was so severe it left him with a serious eye injury. "Roman Reigns choked me out so hard, if you take a look right here, I busted all these blood vessels in my eye. I don't know if it's permanent damage or not." When asked by Stephen A. Smith if he would feel comfortable being at ringside this Saturday for Seth Rollins, Heyman gave a trademark cliffhanger response. He made it clear that while he's always confident working alongside Rollins, his role at WrestlePalooza will depend entirely on the night's strategy. Hell of a cliffhanger. I'm always comfortable ringside with Seth freaking Rollins. Maybe this strategy calls for me to be elsewhere at that moment. Maybe the strategy calls for me to be ringside at the moment. Rollins is set to team with Becky Lynch against CM Punk and AJ Lee in a high-profile mixed tag team match at WrestlePalooza. The lingering question is whether Heyman will make his return during this blockbuster bout or continue his absence from WWE television. Do you think Paul Heyman will show up at WrestlePalooza, or will Roman Reigns' attack keep him sidelined even longer? Share your predictions in the comments below. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. This week's episode of NXT was a special one, with the homecoming show opening with a bang, as none other than Triple H started the episode by thanking the talent, crew, and fans who have made NXT a success over the years. He was then joined by the man who now runs NXT, Shawn Michaels, who claimed that his roster is ready to take NXT to the next level, which led to Triple H teasing a return to the brand. But before they could start arguing, William Regal appeared and announced that the issue could be settled inside Wargames. No date was confirmed, but the announcement being on television immediately sparked speculation about when the match might happen and who might be involved. However, the segment then shifted gears as Charlotte Flair appeared, as she cut a promo about the women of NXT's history. She put over the likes of the Four Horsewomen, Asuka, Paige, and even Ember Moon, while Alexa Bliss then spoke and capped off the segment with DX's iconic "Suck It" line for a big pop. Earlier in the night, there was a brilliant video package highlighting former NXT champions and significant moments. It featured some massive names such as the Wyatt family, and also a surprise appearance by James Storm, who only had a brief run on the show. The show also featured a special intro that utilized the old NXT graphics with the current roster, along with crowd footage from Raw to create a nostalgic presentation that felt both modern and up to date. What do you think about NXT teasing a Wargames match and bringing back big names like Charlotte and Alexa for this homecoming? Would you like to see more legends mix it up with today's stars? The attention then turned to the first match of the night, which saw Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defend their women's tag team championships against Izzy, Dame, and Tatum Paxley, who made their entrance with Nico Vance and Shawn Spears. There was a clear difference in levels of experience in this match, as the champions were far smoother inside the ring, which made Paxley and Dane's lack of experience stand out, but they still worked hard to make this entertaining. Flair enjoyed having some fun at Spears' expense during the commercial, mocking his old 10 chant from his previous run as Ty Dillinger. While fans appreciated that nod to the past, the match itself wasn't overly strong and didn't exactly set a great tone, as the lack of experience was a factor, with the women just going through the motions. Paxley almost caused an upset by putting her foot on the ropes while trying to pin Bliss, but she kicked out and regained control, setting up for Sister Abigail to get the win. This week's NXT featured the Grayson Waller effect, with the main roster star welcoming Obafemi and Ricky Saints as his guests. In typical Waller fashion, he stirred the pot and tried to create controversy between the rivals, with Femi claiming he doesn't think Saints is special, adding that he's been underwhelming since arriving in the company. The former AEW star claimed that Femi has been pampered since being plucked from college, adding that he's nothing without the NXT Championship. While the focus was on those two men, Trick Williams then came out and claimed that the title still belongs to him, which led to Waller suggesting a title versus title match between the two men next week, with the winner facing Saints at No Mercy. While the spotlight was clearly on Obafemi, Ricky Saints, and Trick Williams, the bigger twist came when Waller stirred things up by teasing a title versus title showdown for next week. That suggestion alone set the stage for major implications heading into No Mercy, but the tension wasn't just limited to the ring. WWE NXT Homecoming delivered plenty of surprises inside the ring, more on that coming up, but the real storm was brewing online. Throughout the night, several top TNA stars took to social media to voice their outrage, accusing NXT of disrespecting their company. The backlash wasn't ignored either. Vic Joseph and Booker T repeatedly referenced the posts during commentary, fueling speculation that an invasion storyline may be on the horizon. Santino Marella was one of the first to speak out, venting that NXT's behavior was getting out of hand and suggesting that he was close to taking action. His words set the tone for what would become a flood of angry responses. Mike Santana followed with a fiery post that immediately grabbed attention. He swore that his daughter would not leave the arena disappointed again and warned the entire NXT roster that they were in trouble. Santana also rejected the idea that WWE or NXT held any power over TNA, making it clear that now was the time to fight back. He capped his post with a bold announcement: he would challenge for the TNA World title at Bound for Glory. Former WWE star Cedric Alexander joined the chorus, saying he came to TNA for a fresh start and new opportunities, and he wasn't about to watch NXT talent come and take them away. Mustafa Ali echoed that frustration, warning Shawn Michaels directly that while many may complain, only a few are willing to take real action, and he intended to be one of them. The Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay also fired shots, accusing NXT of treating TNA like it could be walked over without consequences. They warned Michaels that he was playing with fire and mocked WWE's attitude of being able to do whatever it wanted with TNA. TNA International Champion Steve Maclin turned the tension up further. He made it clear that he wasn't interested in nostalgia, promising that NXT would pay for crossing too many lines. Meanwhile, Moose raised questions about the legality of the title versus title winner-takes-all stipulation announced for NXT. He pointed out that such a decision should require TNA executive approval and admitted he was frustrated, but he also hinted he'd be watching closely, reminding everyone that he has unfinished business with Obafemi and Trick Williams. They seem to be outright hinting at something bigger possibly happening next week, when it's been announced that NXT champion Obafemi will face TNA champion Trick Williams in a winner-take-all match. The partnership between NXT and TNA has been incredibly one-sided so far, with WWE contracted talent coming out on top more often than not. An invasion may not change the balance of power, but at the very least, it could finally put TNA and its roster in a much stronger light. Taken together, the messages painted a picture of a locker room ready for war. With WWE airing the tweets during Homecoming and commentary fanning the flames, the stage seems set for a potential NXT-TNA collision. The question now is whether these posts were simply venting from angry stars, or the first real signs of an invasion that could reshape the relationship between WWE and TNA moving forward. Would you want to see this explode into a full-scale invasion angle with TNA stars showing up on NXT to fight for their brand, or should the feud stay confined to social media jabs? More from NXT as fans were treated to a surprise return from Shayna Baszler, who stepped in as Sol Ruca and her tag team partner Zarya clashed over their recent setback. It carried on their recent issues from last week, where Ruca accidentally hit her partner with the Soul Snatcher, costing them the chance to compete in the Women's World Tag Team title match. Baszler dismissed Candice LeRae and Lainey Reed, who had also been involved in the argument, before she gave advice to the young tag team in what was Baszler's first appearance since she was released back in May. Her run of cuts also featured several ex-NXT stars in Dakota Kai, Shotzi, Cora Jade, and Braun Strowman. However, Baszler's return wasn't out of nowhere, as she's still been around the company ever since that moment. It was revealed in July that Baszler had been shadowing NXT producer Chris Gerard, who is best known to fans as Oni Lorcan, and it had been suggested there was a tryout for her to take on a backstage role. However, now that she's returned on screen, there will be a question of whether or not that could be turned into a more permanent situation, or if it was just a one-night appearance for the homecoming episode. What do you think? Should WWE keep Shayna Baszler active on screen in NXT, or would you rather see her transition into a full-time producer role? The show then moved on to a huge tag team match as Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams teamed up for the first time since the finals of the 2024 Dusty Rhodes Classic to take on DIY, which was being billed as one of the biggest tag team matches in NXT's history. DIY returned with their old music, which was a huge hit for fans and reminded people how much better it was than what they currently use. It set the tone well as Hayes and Gargano then started the match at a fast pace until Williams tagged in to hit a dropkick, but Ciampa then entered and sent the younger wrestlers out of the ring as Gargano hit a suicide dive, sending both men into the announce table. The action then continued with Gargano getting a near fall for his slingshot spear, but the young duo turned things around as Williams was setting up his finisher, only for Melo to tag in and hit his move instead. Williams teased turning on his tag team partner at this point, but instead saved him from Ciampa, and the match only grew in excitement as The Miz appeared. The A-lister attacked Gargano and helped Hayes and Williams get the win in what was a dirty ending for a very entertaining match. It was fast-paced and filled with great moments, and while everyone looked good, Gargano and Hayes were the highlights. Fans were also treated to an appearance from Sami Zayn on this show, as he turned up backstage to reflect on his NXT run while he put over Javon Evans, as he claimed the sky is the limit for him. Elsewhere, Damian Priest was shown talking to Tavion Heights before meeting with general manager Ava, as Priest revealed to Tavion that he'd be in a North American Championship match at No Mercy against Ethan Page. However, before Page could worry about defending his title at No Mercy, he had to get past an NXT legend as he defended his title against Tyler Breeze, who returned to wrestle for the first time in 4 years. Prince Pretty made his classic entrance with a selfie stick in tow and his iconic music playing, gaining a great ovation from the audience. They wasted no time in getting into the action as All Ego nailed Breeze with a stiff right hand to ground the veteran, but as the match returned from a commercial, Breeze was getting back into things by countering the Twisted Grin. The first half of the match was all Page, but the second was much more competitive, with both men getting near falls to draw the crowd in. However, it was Page who came out on top with the Twisted Grin, while Breeze was hanging from the top rope, despite a good fight from Breeze. Another surprise appearance saw Bobby Roode turn up as he reminded everyone that he's still absolutely glorious. He shared the segment with Joe Hendry, praising him for carrying TNA into WrestleMania, as he then told him to focus on the NXT Championship. Elsewhere, it became clear that No Quarter Catch crew has officially crumbled. Charlie Dempsey revealed he is going on a month-long excursion to Japan, claiming that Ren Sinclair is now in charge during his absence. The situation raised some eyebrows as there is no one for Sinclair to lead, as everyone has left the group. It leaves the future of the faction in serious doubt unless Sinclair is able to recruit new stars in Dempsey's absence. The surprises kept on coming throughout the episode as Finn Balor returned to confront Lexis King, as he entered with his classic theme to deliver the coup de grace in a top babyface moment as he stood tall with Miles Bourne. Montez Ford then appeared backstage in a conversation with Dark State, and interestingly, he was without Angelo Dawkins, which continued the speculation over the Street Profits potentially breaking up. Do you think Montez Ford should eventually break away and lead a faction like Dark State, or should the Street Profits remain united? We're ending with the main event of the show, which featured a huge 6-woman tag team match as Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix competed against former NXT stars in Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, and Lyra Valkyria. Fatal Influence attacked the veterans to get an early advantage, and it was Vaquer who got targeted first with a triple team move that almost saw the younger stars get a shock win straight out of the gate. The match featured tons of energy with numerous double and triple team moves that captured the attention of fans, albeit at the expense of being chaotic at times. However, it was Ripley who got the win for her team, albeit with some assistance from Lola Vice. The main event saw another surprise appearance on the night come from Bianca Belair, who is currently in the middle of a break from WWE due to suffering a broken finger. The EST of WWE might be a huge star from NXT's past, but her injury stopped Belair from getting physical as she witnessed the main event take place from the crowd. It was fun to see Belair appear on the show in some capacity, but there's no doubt WWE could have done more with someone of her talent, charisma, and star power, regardless of her injury. Do you think WWE could have used Bianca Belair in a more effective manner? And what would you have done with her on the show?